Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. To help keep this podcast free, we're partnering with Stoke Seeds. More than just a listing of vegetable and flower seeds, the Stoke Seeds website is a complete resource center with valuable information on seed starting, planting, and harvesting, plus all the gardening accessories you need to make your garden the envy of the neighborhood. Pre-order your free 2018 gardening guide today from stokeseeds.com, cultivating successful growers for generations. We'll have more to come from Stoke Seeds in the next few weeks. Now, on to today's question. Fred, some emails that we got this week at fred@planttalkradio.com. One came from Janet, and she says, Fred, my daughter recently moved and left me 3 dumb cane plants.
Okay.
2 of them are very large and very green, and one is smaller and variegated.
Okay.
I keep them in a warm area, and I keep them moist, and they're doing very well. When should I feed those? She left me some liquid Miracle Grow indoor fertilizer, and then she has in parentheses 111.
Okay. That's the right stuff, or at anything it's in low measured material like that. The brand the brand is good. Fine. Now, as to when to use it, if the plants were ailing at this point, I would say some now. However, she's describing healthy plants, and I would say then I would wait until the middle of March, 1st of April. First of all, it's when plants will kind of wake up and start to grow again, if you want to put it that way. It's also, there's more light coming in the window, a longer time during the day, so things are going to click. You can over-fertilize plants indoors, period, and you can fertilize them too early. Now, I don't think it would be harmful at that low analysis to do it some now and some later, but I think if they're still looking sassy, I would leave them alone until the end of March or thereabouts. Now, she did say one thing there that triggers my compliment to her, in that she's keeping them moist. Moist is the key. When the plants, and it doesn't matter whether the dumb cane or which is also called Dracaena, whether it's that or rubber trees or whatever, you're dealing with a plant that is in low light, it's in low humidity, it is slowed down dormancy, as even though they don't lose their leaves and so on, and therefore you cut back on the water. Now that is hard to define, but I use the tops of my knuckles, so to speak. I'll lay them on the soil in the pot, and if I can feel cool and or moist, I leave things alone. As soon as I feel dryness, I'll wait about 3 days and then water minimally, enough to keep the plant alive, but not to try to grow it. When you have a low growth cycle, time, daylight, and temperature and humidity and all, you don't want to push the plant in the root zone, because too much water under certain circumstances can rot out and decay a lot of plants. Matter of fact, I was asked a question last weekend about a similar plant, and the leaf tips are starting to brown, and then the lower leaves are dying up. And I said, well, I'm going to bet that you're watering the plant too much. Mm-hmm. Its roots are dying because of literally suffocation, and you need to stop. Well, but no, I said, no, you need to stop. If you're watering every 7 days, go to every 10 or 14. If you're watering every 14, go to 21. But at the same time, you need to check to see what's happening down in there with a pencil, a piece of unpainted wood, your finger, whatever, because you don't dare run them dry. That is not the point. You just simply put them on, well, I'll call it subsistence level of water, to keep them going through the winter. Then when the light comes up and things change in the spring and things internally are ready to grow, then's when you do the fertilization, upgrade the watering, and so on. So, Janet, you're off to a good start. All seems well. And, let me know in spring that you got them through the winter and in good shape. And then by all means, since they're used to being indoors and no heavy sun, don't put them all out in the sunlight all at one time. Go out under a deck or the north side of the house, let them get some more light, and then gradually into full light, because plants, well, it's not the same, but they do what I call sunburn. So get them through the winter. treat them nicely and see what happens in the spring.
Okay, Fred, now I'm going to give this a shot.
Okay.
Dieffenbachia is the technical name. Is that correct? Is that the way?
Well, it is one of them.
Okay.
Dieffenbachia is actually a different plant, but dumb cane, that is correct. My mind was twisted. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. It is dumb cane. And now that I'm on the right plant, when I think of Dieffenbachia, in my class at Ohio State, as usual, there's the calm person and the wily person and so on and so forth. One defied everything he was told. Had to check it out. He was told the dumb cane is well named because the crystalline salts within the liquid inside the plant will cause your mouth to pucker up.
Yeah.
Well, he got to prove it. They're kidding me. Well, I think it was 2 days he didn't talk much.
Wow.
He didn't have sense enough to try a little bit, macho and first time away from home and going to do it his way. Like I say, he didn't talk much for 2 days.
Hence the name
Dumb Cane.
Dumb Cane, yeah.
That's right.
Are those safe for pets?
They are. They're safe because it's not toxic. I can't remember the ingredient. It doesn't matter. It causes the reversal of osmosis where the problem comes in. And anybody is not going to eat enough to ingest it to a point of a problem. I don't think it's toxic in the first place. And after the first bite down and a little bit of juice hits the tongue and the gums and so on, you're going to be done chewing it too.
It's like alum, I suppose.
Well, alum is a perfect example, and it isn't alum that's in it, but it's a crystalline form of a salicylate, and that's as close as I'm going to get because, man,
I think that's close enough.
Close enough.
They are beautiful plants.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I didn't think to tell Janet, with these plants, she should turn them third of a turn, quarter of a turn, her choice on timing, but I would not let the plant sit with light at one source point all the time. It will start to turn that way. And the turning is caused by light actually shortening the length of stem cells on the side toward the light, and the dark side then literally pushes and grows up over. It's hard to say. Once a week would be about the right interval. Turn it a third or a quarter as you wish. Depending on the light source and strength of it, you could even go a little sooner. Keep it growing upright. Then your daughter will be happier when you send her a picture of how well they came through winter.
Now, is that the general rule when it comes to fertilization, where you want to wait maybe spring, summer, early fall, and then just let the plants live through the winter?
That is a good way to put it. Just simply let them live. Keep them sustained is the way to put it. Now, as to fertilization, let's go with internal or we'll call them all tropical plants. Their growth cycle is a little different than outdoor plants, not much. They do need nutrient. It simply gets used up or washed on out of the bottom of the pot in due time. So yes, do fertilize. I think under most circumstances, especially if people leave the plants indoors all year long, I think I would fertilize only once, and that would be in that mid to late March, early April period to get them up and running. You don't try to push them because they're not going to grow as fast and as well as they would outdoors. So, yeah, Mark, it's a matter of let them live, sustain them as it goes, cut back on water, give them as much light as they can possibly get. Now, you'll find some plants by their nature, you don't want to set them right and smack and dab in front of a west-facing window for all afternoon sun, but you can set them just off the edge of that shadow pattern, and they'll get plenty of light. I have several plants that I hold over indoors. None of them are in what I will call direct light at the window. One of them gets direct light across the room, which is 12 feet away. Then 2 are at either edge of the window. And I just keep turning them. I've cut them back on rations, almost to the point making them think they're going to starve to death. And then I will hold them that way. And then about the middle of March or thereabouts, depending on how they look at that point, fertilize, upgrade the water, and start moving them toward the outdoors.
Thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you have a question for Fred, go ahead and email us, fred@planttalkradio.com. And for the best selection of vegetable, flower, and herb seeds available, go to www.stokeseeds.com. Pre-order your free 2018 gardening guide today from stokeseeds.com. Cultivating successful growers for generations.